And I believe we are moments away here. And it looks like, well, the timer getting ahead just a little bit here, but yep, we are ready to get going. So let's see what we've got in the throne room. The king going to give the instructions, and we'll see what 3 chests we get to start. Torch. We've got a set of wings. That works like the return spell to hang on to their magic key.
And it appears the Game Boy might have missed the start of the race.
That's what happens when you take that last second pit stop right before things start. At least that's what one would think. So Toaster going to take a look in the treasury where we've got big bucks. We've got more big bucks. We've also got the add to it, and Toaster going to put that right on, and an herb to help heal some points.
The strength is only 7, though, with the fighter's ring, so it could be a bit of a slow start for them, depending on the monster zones.
Most certainly. And again, this is, and well, now Ryguy going to put on the fighter's ring. Scorpion on the outside is doing a little grinding near home, and Toaster gonna meander around and see if there might be a town nearby to spend that newly found gold. But there's a wizard instead that just rocks Toaster right back to the reset.
It appears that Ryguy actually reset and kept the key, so just checking out the treasury before setting out.
Well, and that is one of the variances of strategies. Some people may opt to go in and raid the treasury and get what's needed in there, and others, well, they're going to opt to hang on to that key until they can grind up enough gold to be able to purchase more keys and then raid the treasury. And, oh, we've got fire everywhere.
The enemies are a bunch of arsonists today, apparently.
Yeah, we saw, I think that was a Drakey with the Dragon Lord 2 breath that does anywhere from 64 to 72 hit points of damage. Same thing with the Druin, and I don't know, I know the Rogue Scorpion caused a death, but I don't think it was necessarily to the fire. But there's certainly a lot of...
Oh, and an excellent dodge by a ghost on Ryguy. That's really unfortunate.
Yes, even the critical hits, which are, I believe, a 1 in 64 chance of happening, can also be dodged, and there's a similar rate to that. So the odds are pretty low that can happen. Frustrating when it does. Oh, and the Druins have Dragon Lord Breath, too. And Beta Strep providing a correction. I think I was confusing the dodge and excellent moves. 1 in 32 chance of an excellent move. Oh, and Rogue Scorpions have hurt more. That's what took out Toaster before, and now Scorpion Max.
Just hurt more. Not a big deal compared to everybody else.
And Wraith Knights with the Spell of Sleep, and Toaster just immediately resetting, not even seeing what else it has. Now, Scorpion looks like it's taken out at least some sort of an enemy. 3 experience, just under halfway to level 2.
I believe it was a Drakey, but I'm not sure. With all this death and destruction, it's been hard to keep an eye out for kills.
Scorpion is now going to take a look in the back of Tangential Castle, and we'll see what's in the basement. And it is, well, it's a cave. And it looks like, based on the movement, that it is the north end of Swamp Cave, which will lead to another exit on the south end. Should... Oh, okay, clean heroes run through. Alrighty, and there's a town right on the other side of the cave, and it's the town of Cole, so we're going to have one of the search spots found here. And it's the fair location.
That would have been a huge early get for Scorpion Max to have the armor or even just know where the token is.
Yeah, there are one of three potential items in the search spots. Either the Fairy Flute, which is used to put the rather tough enemy, the Golem, to sleep. There's also Erdrick's Armor, the best armor in the game, and Erdrick's Token, which is one of the key items needed to acquire the Rainbow Drop. And just a step before the cave, Scorpion goes down.
I was about to say we have a new cave, but you were right. The Wyvern has put the slaughter in the water, and Scorpion's gone back to the cave.
Oh, and meanwhile, we've got a Metal Slime over on Toaster's side, and he gets an excellent move, a critical hit, and that is going to vault him up rather notably here, and I believe that's enough to get up to level 6. Wow, 42, 36, 62, and 45 for your strength, agility, hit points, and there's the town of Cantlin. So already a huge lead here for Toaster just in terms of, well, statistics and experience here, and now going to take a look with that gold and be able to purchase some more things here. Looks like enough for a hand axe, a chainmail, perhaps the small shield as well. But just going to go with the hand axe for right now. And decides to go for the large. So that'll add 10 defense points to the total, and the hand axe adding 15 on the attack side. So with the equipment advantage as well as the level advantage, a huge start here for AmazingToaster. And it looks like both Scorpion and Game Boy are going to hang out near the start and try to level up using some of the enemies here, although we've seen that they've been rather problematic. And Scorpion finding out that the Drakey has the Dragon Lord Breath.
Oh, and I don't know if it was mentioned, I had to step away for a moment, but that Metal Slime I don't believe could run away.
No, at the time, with the strength being less than less than half of your strength. Yeah, I know what I'm trying to say there. It just doesn't quite come out. If your strength is more than double a particular enemy's strength, they're likely to run away, and that's why Metal Slimes with just 10 strength tend to run anywhere if you have 20 or more strength. If you have less than, which is what Toaster had, it was guaranteed to not run away, as Ryguy now finding the Fairy Flute.
Toaster is on that Metal Slime hunt. They seem very hot and heavy around camp.
Night Dew asking in chat, the vanilla XP, that means the vanilla experience for leveling. No, we don't want to be here all night, so we're not going to revert to the vanilla experience that the enemies had back in the old Dragon Warrior game that we know and love for the most part, except for that long grind.
And there's not a kill. They must have another hit point to go.
And there's another Metal Slime for Toaster. That's going to vault him up to level 7. 450 experience needed for 7, 1, 6, 10, 5, and a new spell. I don't even know if you've seen the spells here. Heal, Hurt, Stop Spell, Outside, Return, and I believe that was Heal More.
It was indeed Heal More at the end of the list.
And now Ryguy going to go ahead and raid that treasury, perhaps to get that additional 2 attack power. And Game Boy now saving just 1 experience away from level 2. And Ryguy still looking for enemy number 1 to be taken out.
This is an incredibly great start by AmazingToaster, taking advantage of the heavy metal slimes, getting a good exploration in early to find the enemy.
Now, of note here, the top 2 runners will advance to the semifinals, where they have a certainly interesting, well, challenge that awaits them, in that it will be Chaos as well as Big Swamp that they'll have to deal with. The first that we've seen a Big Swamp here in the Dragon Warrior Randomizer League.
The Wraith Knights are only carrying Hurt, which is actually making them fairly killable for AmazingToaster. In addition to Sleep, of course.
Yeah, the combination, bit of a challenge, to say the least.
Well, the good news is that they do get that Sleep. They tend to their spell, so they would be casting Hurt, not killing with the higher attack.
And now here's another Metal Slime on Toaster's side. Full hit. That is the 3rd Metal Slime that AmazingToaster has taken out as Game Boy gets. But now here is level for Toaster. 1, 6, 4, and 1 spell. So everything coming up Toaster right now.
Game Boy picked off a Magidrakey just now, so starting to get moving on that side of things. And level 2, since we skipped so many levels on the AmazingToaster side of things.
Quickly, now getting off the ground, also ryguy by finding a Metal Slime. And ryguy guys, now we might see it gain for ryguy, so that's going to vault him up to level 6 as 220 gets to level 6.
How other runners feel when they get a Metal Slime somewhat early. This is 12 and a half minutes in. I wonder if ryguy feels that equals everyone else out now.
What are you thinking if you're Toaster at this point? Having taken out 3 Metal Slimes, already up to level 8, just 13 minutes into this seed.
Toaster might just be thinking, I'm grinding, hoping on the next level to get hurt more. But if that doesn't show up soon, I think exploration has to start to find all these items that we need.
Well, thankfully, a mismenuing, not making a mistake for Toaster, in that Repel cannot be cast in battle.
ryguy escapes an Axe Knight on the first try, not too shabby.
So, Max now looking for just that one enemy to be able to go up a level here. I'm guessing there was an area there with slimes in that second zone, as there's also metal scorpions and druins. And now, I feel like a broken record, but AmazingToaster encountering a metal slime. Will this one hang around? It will! And that is a 4th metal slime for AmazingToaster, and now going over the 1300 experience threshold, there is level 9. 2, 3, 13, and 4 for the stats.
No spell, though.
No spell, but I think Toaster's just going to hang out here and metal slime farm and take out some of the other enemies that are here and just keep piling on the experience. And there's another metal slime.
It also appears that Game Boy's now got a full boat of keys on hand, so exploration will be fairly easy moving out when we come into places that have locked over.
So with Drakeemas and Warlocks and Wraith Knights that he's using Stop Spell on, and the Metal Slimes, this is a pretty nice zone, all things considered.
This is the first race in this league I've seen where Scorpion Max has had abysmal luck, still stuck on level 1.
Oh, and Skeletons have Dragon Lord Breath too. I don't know which is becoming more repetitive. AmazingToaster finding a Metal Slime and defeating it, or, oh, and such enemy has Dragon Lord 2.
Game Boy in the dark kills all Magi and gets up to level 5.
And Ryguy found a town, saw it was Hawksness, the abandoned town chock full of enemies, and wanted no part of it.
I don't believe AmazingToaster has seen anything other than Catlin thus far, correct?
No, the exploration has been kept to a minimum, but the leveling is certainly at a premium, as Toaster has more than quadruple the experience of the person and has at least double all three of the racers combined.
Another level, trying to make some striving motions and a little more exploration so far. Could be a key move for him.
And Captain Green noting in chat that Toaster did see Hawksness, but at that point wasn't quite ready to face it. And, well, here there's a pretty decent gold grind going on here. Is now Toaster going to pick up the half-plate armor, so that'll add another 16 defense to the total. So that'll make enduring some of the hits a little bit easier.
Ryguy is definitely picking off some mid-range enemies on the move, so slowly building that experience lead on Game Boy and Max.
Well, Max now working on a ghost here, down to minimal resources. Oh, down to the last swing, hits it for one. Oh, and it's not enough to take the ghost out.
A question from CD in slimes in the starting zone. It's not just that there doesn't seem to be many slimes. A lot of the tougher enemies also seem to be carrying Dragon Lord 2 Breath and Hurt More.
Yeah, certainly not a formidable combination, and Toaster not too far from level 10. 2,000 experience, the number to get to level 10. And Ryguy now finding the town of Garenham, going to pick up a small shield.
Oh, and as a quick reminder to viewers who may have come in partway through this race, the top 2 advance to the next week. So despite the big lead for AmazingToaster, second place is just as important in this race.
Yes, the top 2 here will advance to the I guess the last 4 in a sense. Because I don't know if that other thing is copyrighted. You know, with this being March and all.
Well, you know, this kind of makes sense. I believe AmazingToaster is a lower rank seed. This is March. That checks out.
Gotta love those 14 seed upsets. It's madness, I tell you. Madness.
The top of the grave was gold herb.
And heading right back on out. Oh, little cave kind of nestled in some mountains there. Almost very similar to the mountain cave in the vanilla part of the game.
Game Boy is making some headway and grinding along. Working on getting, trying to get back in here after a bit of a slow.
And Scorpion Scorpion has leveled up and actually now starting to take out Drakeys with the Hurt spell and is already up to level 3. And Braxis, very... way to take one of my previously stated things from a different seed and utilizing it here. Yeah, if we're going to be here for a while, time to go get your favorite copyrighted candy bar.
That's a big level 10 power.
23 attack power. Already at level 10, up to 76 strength.
Poor Scorpion Max gets ruined right back to the castle by the Dragon Lord Tube.
So now for level 11, oh yeah, there's the statistics there. You can see the orange meaning you're kind of on the borderline, but those white stats mean there's still room for growth. But still, 93 attack power for Toaster at level 10, doing a pretty good number on quite a few of the mid-range enemies.
The orange on the hit points is a bit of a misleading thing, as no one's going to go take on the Dragon Lord without Erdrick's.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's under the presumption that you get all of the end-game defensive things. So yes, nobody's going without Erdrick's armor, so that's still a little while here, but Toaster now going to give a go at Hawksness and taking out a Star Wyvern. Getting a little bit of a spiteful revenge on the Druin, one-shotting it. And let's see what the Guardian is in Hawksness, and also Hurtmore, it looks like, came at 10. And it's the Golem.
No flute for Amazing Toaster, so no way to put it to sleep.
But at this point, with the high hit points and the utilization of Heal More, may just kind of go into a 12-round slugfest.
Yep. A battle of attrition will always win, provided the Golem's not carrying Heal More itself.
Well, so far it doesn't look to have any special spells or abilities. Meanwhile, Game Boy is in the town of Rimeldar, where normally you're beelining to get keys, but since he already has keys, and it's got the Stones of Sunlight.
The inn holding the stones? And also, actually, just to the northwest of Rimeldar, there's another town, and there's also Sharlock, so people living right near the Dragon Lord, in total and complete trust, they will not be crushed.
And Toaster having found Erdrick's token under the search spot of Hawksness, so the knowledge that we have now, that means that it is confirmed that Erdrick's armor is going to be on the overworld search spot, and we will have coordinates. As Game Boy going into... Oh, look. Breckenary. Quick browsing, not even going to stay at the 6 gold inn, and out goes Game Boy F9. And now, not too far away from level 11 is Toaster, as 2,900 is the number needed. Meanwhile, here's level 8 for Ryguy. And Game Boy has found the Tablet Cave. Up to NG asking, how did this happen? 3 simple words. 4 metal slimes.
Oh, there's been a desert just full of metal slime carcass.
Yeah, there was a desert area right around the town of Cantlin that had metal slimes as well as wraith knights, and also some, for the middle levels, some Drakemas, and I think it was Warlocks.
And Warlocks as well, yes.
So was just kind of working on those and knocked out 4 metal slimes, and next thing you know, up went the levels, and now able to take on Axe Knights, and here comes level 11 now for Toaster. 0, 6, 9, and 7. And Ryguy finding the fun police, the red dragon, because whenever they show up, the fun tends to stop.
Game Boy is getting a good exploration in, but unfortunately picked off by a rogue scorpion, casting hurt more.
And Paul Dog asking in chat, yes, this is a playoff round. This is one of the 2 quarterfinal matchups. The top 2 racers will advance to the semifinals next week, where we will have the return of Chaos as well as the introduction of Big Swamp Mode.
So yeah, so as big as this lead is for AmazingToaster, second place is just as important in this race.
And of note, the second quarterfinal matchup is in just a little more than 23.5 hours from now, as it will be here among the Randomania networks at 8 p.m. Eastern tomorrow.
Game Boy getting Stop Spell on an Axe Knight and just using Hurt to whittle it down while it fruitlessly casts Stop Spell itself. Pretty good use of minor spells.
Oh, but it has Dragon.
That is just cruel. That is just cruel.
That's what you get when you ask too many questions.
Man, that really cut.
It'll be a long night.
Poor Scorpion Max has been invited to every single barbecue, and unfortunately, he's been the main course.
And here comes level 7 for Game Boy, as he traverses through the swamp cave.
AmazingToaster just shrugging off a sneak attack just due to the massive amount of hit points available.
And Paul Dog asking in chat, do we know where Erdrick's armor is? Yes and no. We know that it is in the overworld search spot. We do not know what coordinates they are yet.
In fact, the only things I believe we're exactly aware of locations was the Rimmeldar Inn had the Stones of Sunlight, the token is in the search spot in Hawksness, and the search spot in Cole had the flute.
Scorpion now is going to find, I believe this was the grave. Yes, it is. So 5 treasure chests able to be sought out.
Yes, thank you, Beta Strap. The Fighter's Ring is in the treasury. It's so inconsequential most of the time. I forget that it is an important item to actually find.
Now Game Boy working on a metal slime. Scorpion finding the top 3 treasure chests of the grave: gold, golden, and herb.
Is Amazing Toaster without keys?
I believe so. Doing a
Well,
little bit of browsing.
That's a bit of a roadblock at present then. Needing to find those coordinates. Not that necessarily Amazing Toaster knows that yet. No, Amazing Toaster would know that, I believe.
I think Toaster's still looking for coal to be able to find the search spot. And yes, the key from the beginning, which there were wings to be able to preserve a key, he used to raid the treasury to get the fighter's ring as well as the gold that was in there.
And that means then with coal on the other side of the swamp cave, which is in the basement of Tanagil, would not know about for sure needing the coordinates. Keys are of utmost importance now for Amazing Toast.
All right, Game Boy, meanwhile, is in the mountain cave, according to chat. Thank you, Firelight.
The place seems to be lousy with wolves. Not a bad enemy for Game Boy at this point.
Red Dragons, on the other hand, not so much.
Rutrow. Scorpion is in Garnham. I didn't see exactly where that was. Have we seen Garnham previously?
We have. We have not yet seen what's behind it, though. And Game Boy still unable to run away from this red dragon. Oh, and that finally takes him out.
The fun police just want to let you not have any fun at all. And, you know, a close compatriot of the fun police, the Armored Knight, the AK-47, cuts down Ryguy, sending Ryguy back to the castle.
And Toaster has found Rimmeldar and is making a beeline for the key shop.
Big get for Amazing Toaster. This will open up all sorts of places to look for items and to also find out those coordinates.
Meanwhile, the aforementioned Armored Knight taking out Max.
It appears Game Boy is in Hawksnest right now, taking on a Star Wyvern.
And now Toaster going to go and pick up the Stones of Sunlight.
Which I believe means there's only 3 places we could see the Silver Harp at this point. Which I believe is the Mountain Cave. Or 4 places, because the bottom of the grave, no one's been down that. At the bottom of the grave, behind the Vanilla Stones of Sunlight Cave, the freebie cave.
That is correct. Now, Toaster seeing Brecconary, perhaps looking to upgrade to a broadsword, but does not see one.
Given the strength, I'm not sure it's even worth buying one at this point. It's better just to explore, find the items, and the sword will turn up along the way.
And now Max being a little bit run blocked, and here comes level 9 for Game Boy. 2, 3, 13, 4, and there is Erdrick's token.
It is an interesting race for second shaping up right now, but Game Boy has steadily made up ground on Ryguy, and I would dare say even is a little bit ahead at the moment into second place.
Well, first isn't even a guarantee. I mean, I've seen races where people have jumped out to immense leads, and all it takes is not being able to find one thing, and next thing you know, somebody comes from behind.
Oh, for sure. I'm just saying at present, AmazingToaster definitely in the lead. And I believe second would have to belong to gameboyf9 at present.
It is certainly close, and Toaster now finding the grave. So enemies pending, moments away from getting a little more gold deep into Garen's grave. Now, also with these keys, there is the possibility if Toaster should fall here and have to go back to the castle, that it sets up the treasure chest glitch, also known as the gold grind. And we'll get more into that into a moment, but first, Scorpion is inside the mountain cave, and we see the cursed belt to start off with. And the curse seems to be having to endure this armored knight. So it's on the way to the fourth treasure chest in the grave. And it is a torch. Okay, we've got an herb down in the second level of the mountain cave, and we've got a red dragon. Oh, Max able to get away. And we've got Erdrick's sword in the mountain cave, as well as some big bucks. And the death necklace is deep in Garen's grave.
The death necklace could be in play. The hit points are getting up there as they level up.
And now one more chest to be determined here in the mountain cave. Scorpion just a few steps away. And an empty chest. So I believe that might have been another herb or perhaps a magic key.
So for the chat, talking about the harp, there's only 2 places left now that the harp can be, which is in the behind the door in Garanam, or in the freebie cave, or the vanilla Stones of Sunlight cave, however you want to call it. It appears Ryguy is about to pick up a whole bunch of keys in Rimmeldar.
And it looks like Toaster is working on that treasure chest glitch, which the way that works, treasure chests respawn every time you go to the overworld map, but due to the programming limitations at the time the game was made, the game only tracks up to 8 treasure chests as open. So every chest open beyond that 8th chest can be taken over and over again. So in this case, having died inside of a cave, opening at least 2 treasure chests, then warping by death back to the King's Throne Room, where the 3 chests in the throne room, they are permanently marked as open, so you don't take them over and over again. And then opening at least 3 of the treasure chests in the treasury, that gets you to 8, and then the 9th one you hope that is gold, so they can continue to get at least 500 gold over and over again to be able to make bank and purchase some of the big ticket items, including the Silver Shield, the best shield in the game that gives you 20 defense, perhaps the Flame Sword, which gives 28 attack power, and either the Full Plate or Magic Armor, which gives additional defense.
So the full amount of money required if you're going to go big, if you want to get all the best equipment money can buy, is 32,300 gold.
And Game Boy has found the Silver Harp, one of the necessity items in Garanham. We also have a Dragon Scale, which, when put on, adds 2 defense points to your total, as well as some big bucks.
Now let's see if the trade-in for the harp is right out here down the staircase.
No, we've got the Vanilla Stones of Sunlight Cave. And that's got a magic key.
What a place for a free key, behind a door.
So the Toaster now saving with all that money.
Toaster actually saving a few seconds by only going to 33,100, because whenever Toaster buys an item, it will end up selling what he has and will then cover the cost for the rest if he's going full purchase.
Well, actually, looks like he left himself a little bit of extra room, as 32,003 is needed, and 33,1, well, after having purchased the keys, now down to 32,8, still has 500 gold of wiggle room for any other additional purchases here. So Toaster finding out that this cave, well, okay, opting against heading through the swamp cave. Probably going to head on over to Cantlin, since it's not too far away, just to the northeast of Tangential Castle, and has served very fruitful with a litany of metal slimes, but going to cast the repel spell to not really have to worry about them.
Unfortunately, Game Boy gets cut down by an AK yet again. There's been a lot of kills by the fun police and the AKs in the last 20.
And now here it is, the proverbial shopping mall, and Toaster going to pick up the Flame Sword. That's going to be an additional 13 attack power over the Hand Axe. And there's the Silver Shield. That's going to be an additional 10 defense.
Scorpion Max just ran into the same issue Game Boy had earlier. Stop spell on an Axe Knight, and then the Axe Knight goes, whoa, yeah? Have some fiery breath.
Stop spell, stop this.
And we're about to see the coordinates.
20 south and 16 east.
Definitely walkable. No need for the princess on this seed. And for those who do not understand what that means, when you rescue the princess in this game from the swamp cave, she will give you an item that is essentially, I believe they call it the Gwaelin positioning system, and she will tell you where you are in relation to the castle. That is how you can find the item on the overworld, unless you want to walk there and just count it out yourself.
Well, in fairness, she does tell you where she is in relation to you, because it is all about her.
That's a solid point.
With her utterances of "but thou must." And Toaster has picked up Erdrick's armor, so walking through those swamplands will no longer be a problem, as Erdrick's armor, it's probably the best armor in all of RPG history, in that it not only gives the 28 defense more than any other armor, but you take no damage walking through swamp tiles or barrier tiles instead of the 2 and 15 hit point damage respectively. It also reduces the damage done by the Hurt and Hurt More spells, as well as that Fire Breath and Dragon Lord 2 Breath. It also negates the spell of Stop Spell, so enemies can cast Stop Spell until they're blue in the face, or in the case of Blue Dragons, some other color in the face, and it won't affect you. And for every step you walk, it heals 1 hit point of damage.
And for those that have joined us somewhat late, AmazingToaster built an early lead killing metal slimes around Cantlin, and it has been a back-and-forth battle between Ryguy and Gameboy for second and third, while poor Scorpion Max has been having less than ideal luck, but takes out a golem and gets a level, right as I said.
And gets Erdrick's token as well for the Battle in Hawksness.
Speaking of metal slimes, Gameboy is 1 hit away from killing this one, and right as the commentator says this, the shot does not land. But the next one landed, so it's all fine. The lack of a sleep spell by level 10 is making stone men a little more dangerous than...
So Ryguy, now having done a gold grind and went all the way up to 35,000 plus gold, and is now going to go looking to do some shopping as well.
Max is on that golem grind, using Erdrick's sword and using Healmore to try to take them down, along with the fairy.
And as long as the golem stays asleep, it's not too bad of a play. Although every time you use that fairy flute, I believe it's 8 seconds, or at least it feels like 8 seconds, maybe longer than that. And wow, not able to golem, basically being put down for a brief catnap by the fairy flute, and then waking up and punching Max for 42.
Definite downside of going with a golem grind, ferrying them asleep, and all not getting any experience on that fight. I guess AmazingToaster just picking up a safety fairy flute has to know that was all that was left to find in the search location.
Yeah, with the defense that Max has, not a whole lot, and that's probably why he's going over to the coordinates now, because realizing that, well, having only 47 defense against the golems, not going to get it done, as that means the golem can hit for anywhere from 24 to 48 hit points.
Ryguy also getting the coordinates, so probably passing on that full plate, just going to go get the armor now if it's close to the castle, which we know it is.
So this will be a calculated risk that will more than likely pay off.
Yes, because Ryguy is not aware of what is in Hawksness at present.
Pyrolite noting that Game Boy is having issues finding Cantlin. I guess having traveled everywhere but northeast of the castle, of Tangel Castle.
It appears that Max is indeed looking the wrong direction from the castle, but may have realized his mistake now. Maybe not, actually. Going very far south to start. If Max heads west, then the wrong direction has been noted. Ryguy now in Hawksness, trying to get over to the spike spot, but running into some armored knights along the way. But that experience is pretty good.
Hard to argue against it. And yeah, it looks as though Max is going 20 south and 16 west.
Question of if Ryguy recalls that the flute is in hand, might just be skipping it, because as we discussed, 8-second delay per use of the flute.
And Ryguy able to take it out and get to level 11 in the process. Meanwhile, Toaster in the mountain cave and has found Erdrick's sword and is now saying, you know what? I'm going to go toe-to-toe with this red dragon.
You've got heal more and that many hit points. Red dragons are easily killable. Just gotta watch your hit points as you get down there. Max has to be very confused right now as to where this armor is, and definitely appears to have got the wrong coordinate direction for where the armor is at. May have to make another trip back to Cantlin to check that.
And there is level 13, and having found a magic key at the end there, opts on out of the mountain cave.
A large hit point gain has put the Death Necklace as a possibility, although the strength keeps growing as it has. Once they reach 10, it may not be necessary.
Now, the way that the Death Necklace works, in the vanilla version of the game, it's just a cursed item, as Toaster finding out and just opting on out of there. But the Rainbow Drop Cave, or also known as the Jerk Cave, if you don't have all the items needed, well, then he'll kick you out of the cave like the jerk that he is.
And Scorpion Max picks up Erdrick's armor, this time going east from the castle instead of west.
Oh, yes. Most specifically, if you don't have Erdrick's token, he'll kick you out. Otherwise, he'll just say that you're not worthy or something along those lines if you have the token but not the other items.
It's not that he's a jerk, he's just very demanding in his heroes, that's all.
So if we're going by that definition, would Gwaelin also be a jerk? We'll leave that for chat to ponder. Meanwhile, Ryguy up and outing of Garen Ham, and it looks like he's going to go make that count.
Scorpion Max enjoying some of the benefits of Erdrick's armor, laughing off a hurt more from the Rogue Scorpion, only taking 22 damage.
Well, maybe chuckling off a hurt more. Oh, there's the 23 power at level 10. Oh, and Ryguy now heading west. And searching in the incorrect direction.
So it appears that Unos was a little out of line with the stats earlier of the question, is east-west? 1 out of 4 think so. Apparently it's 2 out of 4. Well, it looks like Ryguy figured it out much quicker than Max and is now about to pick up the armor for himself.
Chat noting that you must go west to find the armor.
So looking at everyone's collectibles so far, everyone's kind of missing something that all the others have found collectively.
Well, I think the missing in action thing that I don't know if we've seen as of yet is the Staff of Rain Cave. Unless it was very early on and it just doesn't come to recollection.
I don't recall seeing it, but there's been so much death and destruction on this seat, it's been hard to keep track of where anything is.
Well, we have the Stones of Sunlight over on Scorpion's side. Well, Ryguy has definitely seen the Staff of Rain Cave, as Ryguy now trading it in as we speak. So Ryguy now has everything needed to acquire the Rainbow Drop. And Beta Strep noting in chat that Toaster's experience lead's starting to dwindle. It was about a 2,000 experience lead, now down to just about a 1,400 experience lead.
Yeah, use of Repel is nice for getting around the overworld, but it definitely cuts down on the medium to easy high range enemies you can kill, typically.
Well, it's one of those catch-22s. If you don't cast Repel, you're experiencing fights with slimes and drakies and maybe scorpions. But if you do cast it, then yeah, you miss out on all the things that you want to encounter, such as Droll Magi's and Druin Lords and things of that nature.
Game Boy's play has just been a master class, showing the quality of player, just continuing to march back into this and possibly even getting into the lead here.
Well, he now goes back to Cantlin as he has Erdrick's armor and is going to utilize his gold to acquire the Silver Shield to get an additional 16 defense over the small shield.
Meaning now that Game Boy is fully equipped and just needs to get experience, trade in the harp, get the drop, and take care of the Dragonlord. Simple, really.
Yeah, it's like that insurance company. It's so easy that a caveman could do it. Not mentioning names because, you know, advertising and whatnot. So we've got Scorpion in the back of Garen Ham. Gonna go on in and get the replacement key. Meanwhile, Ryguy now going up to level 12. And Toaster traversing a dead end through the swamp that I'm pretty sure he had seen before. Now in Garen's grave. The only thing that's fruitful in here is going to be the death necklace. And now as we're an hour and change into this seed, seeing how things have gone, you know that the stress has to start hitting our runners here. Wondering, all right, I know that I'm fairly close. How close are my opponents?
I'm not exactly sure where Garanham is located in the overworld. Oh, there it is, right there, as I say. I was just going to say it's in the middle of a swamp.
So now having found Garanham, there is the silver heart for Toaster. And not even going to bother with any of the other treasure chests.
And since Toaster has seen the trade-in, doesn't need to check the back of Garanham, just needs to go make that trade.
Link Force asking, where is Sharlock? Now, I know that we've seen it, and it's pretty close to a couple of towns, if I recall correctly. One of those being Breckenary.
Breckenary and Rimmildar are both in a little corner offshoot with Sharlock, which is on a peninsula.
And Ryguy is the first to acquire the Rainbow Drop. And now Game Boy's at level 13.
Scorpion gets taken out by a blue dragon. I believe that's the first blue dragon I've seen all night.
Meanwhile, a wizard with the spell of heal and some traditional dragon breath. Not very threatening, but a nice 120 experience per take. And up to NG noting this might be closer than we initially thought. A little bit of a tortoise and the hare type scenario as Toaster jumping out to a large lead early, but that lead slowly being closed in as Game Boy just 700 experience away from Toaster's experience lead.
I don't believe Game Boy has seen the trade-in cave as of yet, so that's a bit of a slowdown for him on an otherwise miraculously great charge getting back into this race. It's an interesting competition we have going.
Well, this is what you would expect here in the playoffs, the quarterfinals. One of two quarterfinal matches here in the Dragon Warrior Randomizer 2019 League. The other of which, just a little under 23 hours from now, 8 p.m. Eastern tomorrow here among the Randomania networks, you will see the other matchup, the remaining 4 of our last 8. And they are certainly going to be fantastic, that is for sure. Tomorrow night, you're going to see Schubinator, High Spirits, Beta Strep, and Will Wagner music.
Ryguy has ducked into the swamp cave. I don't believe we've seen the spike tile in that place yet. Probably going to go for a grind with an excellent move on a red dragon. Oh, my mistake. That's the grave. Thought Ryguy was going to dive.
Well, it looks like Ryguy wanted to see what the Guardian was in the swamp cave, and it was the Stone Man, and Ryguy wanting none of it.
So our options for grinding are the material enemies. Usually not what you want to see.
And Toaster now with the Rainbow Drop, and up to NG noting essentially in go mode, while grinding go mode. Looking to find some enemies to gain a few more levels here, and then make his way into Charlotte Castle.
It appears Game Boy has gone through the swamp cave and is now hunting for the trade-in cave, but unfortunately it's not over here. Refresh my memory, but I believe the death necklace was in the very bottom of Garen's grave, correct?
Your memory is correct. Deep in Garen's grave was the death necklace, and I believe that Toaster is the only one who had found that. So Toaster has the potential to put on the death necklace, additional 10 attack power to go to 139 based on the stats that we see on the screen here. And well, it would come at the cost of 25% of the max hit points. So, you're looking at
about
probably
104.
Around 100, little give or take, maybe 101.
It should be 104, 103, 105, somewhere in that range.
This is why I don't do math and commentate at the same time.
Question from Up to NG. Breckenary is right outside of Charlock. It's literally nestled in on the wall.
And after doing some non-commentating math, Firelight is correct. 103 would be the max hit points for Toaster, so not a lot of opportunities for double attacks, but would certainly be able to hit for quite a bit, 9 to 19 on the second form of the Dragon Lord, but we'll get more into that once we get into Charlotte Castle.
And that will be with maximum of 11 Healmores.
So now that experience lead from Toaster has dwindled down to 400. Although now, thanks to the Golem, up to 600 and change, now about 500. And here comes level 14, all threes.
The other thing is, though, that Game Boy is still looking for the trading cave. The experience has shrunk, but right now that's a big gap due to the fact that Game Boy cannot access Charlotte Castle.
And you can see there now a lot of those stats in the green, meaning it's a pretty good possibility, and Toaster is going to consider going for it here.
With nothing else to find, it's just a straight dive to the basement.
And to answer the question, 7,500 was the target number to get to level 14. Should level 15 be needed, that would be an even 10,000 experience.
One thing for this dive to keep in mind is the agility while green is a very low green number.
So yes, with the death necklace, if Toaster chooses to put it on, that'll move the attack up to 142. That would be an attack range of 10 to 21 on the second form of the Dragon Lord. Now, how these numbers are being calculated, in terms of that second form, well, pretty much you want to take your attack power, lop off 100, and then in this case, that'll put you currently for Toaster at 132. Cut that number in half. So from 32, half of that is 16. That's the maximum range. Cut it in half again. That'd be 8. That'd be the lower half of the range. So with the death necklace on, that would bump it up to 142. Lop off 100. Half of 42 is 21. That's your top range. And half of 21 rounded down is 10. This concludes our Dragon Warrior Randomizer math lesson. Back to the race.
The nice thing for the dive, despite maybe getting run blocked for 1 or 2 turns, the high hit points on the dive will allow AmazingToaster to take some hits, still be fine, and possibly heal walk without having to use any more magic or herbs on the way down. Was that a back-to-back Red Dragon Golem escape on the first turns? Gotta like that luck.
Well, I said it earlier, everything was coming up Toaster.
Game Boy's got to be going crazy trying to find this cave. It's been on the hunt for at least 15 minutes.
Oh, and he finds the cave that he doesn't want quite yet in the Rainbow Drop Cave, but is still looking for that Staff of Rain cave.
Far from the castle direction.
Well, that is a...
Meanwhile, AmazingToaster now onto the bottom floor, right down onto the Dragon Lord and Charlotte, making a large, long walk here. My goodness, hero walking it like a champ.
And we have the Guardian enemy, and it's a Stone Man. Now, in the vanilla version of the game, there is not a spike tile there. However,
sleep fails to land.
Normally surrounds Cantlin had to be moved somewhere, so they decided to make a nice little mini boss here, which is quickly disposed of by Toaster. Opting not to utilize the death necklace with the 8 to 16 attack. And quickly dispatches of the first form of the Dragon Lord. Here is the second form. So opting to go with the high hit points here. Hits for 13 to start. And another 14. We're at 27. Already some high rolls. With 10 heal mores left to go. Now up to 38. 49 now.
I think I'm back now after my internet just had a burp.
2 for Toaster on the second form of the Dragon Lord, which can have anywhere from 150 to 165. Oh, and a low roll of 8 there, a minimum roll of getting up to 70, now up to 83. Another high roll of 14. We're at 97. Now 6 Healmores left.
And just to interject as you're doing that, Max is about to enter Sharlock.
106 now, 5 Healmores left. Pretty good chance here for Toaster. 120 now. $131. Having to utilize another Healmore. Got pretty rough on the attacks there. 140. Toaster should have this here. 149. The next attack could be the last one. Going to do a safety Healmore.
And Ryguy is now into Sharlock as well.
158, and Toaster has done it.
Get out your GGs.
Promenade up Toaster, who's going to be our final 15 minutes and 37 seconds.
Game Boy sees Sharlock and has to be.
And Smashy asking, what is Game Boy still looking for? The Staff of Rain Cave.
And joining us, I believe, in the chat room just now is AmazingToaster, the winner of this race. GG.
Now I have to play Big Swamp Chaos.
Don't you feel like a winner?
Woohoo.
Well, the Cinderella story continues. The 14 seed advancing now to the semifinals. It feels like some other March tournament of some sort here.
Yeah, I bet the others didn't have the same opening I did. I was about to give up on finding a town to spend that gold in, and then I found Cantlin, and on the way there, that metal slime popped up, and I'm like, oh, goody.
Just to say, Game Boy F9 has finally found the trading cave, now has the staff, will have to make his way back to the Rainbow Drop Cave, the Jerk Cave, and then on to Sharlock.
But it might be too little too late here, as both Max and Ryguy in Sharlock.
But remember, Scorpion Max is in there at level 12. It's going to be a pretty tough win at this point. Possible, but tough. But going back to what you said, AmazingToaster, yes, that early metal slime kill when it couldn't run away. And then it seemed you just settled down and hunted them and used the stat gains to take out those medium and low-range enemies, just building a large experience lead.
Yeah, I got a bit of equipment, and then it was a good zone around Cantlin, so I just stuck it out and ground to 10. I was going to leave at 10 anyways, and then I got hurt more. I was like, okay, yeah, it's time to get out of here.
Yeah, once you get hurt more, you can really punch a lot of enemies quickly and get the world explored in short order.
Yeah, the only bad thing was took me forever to find Garanham. I just kind of left it in that little corner because I didn't go... Well, I went back there and forgot that there was that little nub down there that I hadn't explored yet because I took the gold grind out of the grave.
I actually had a question for you myself. I always wonder, with an early metal slime. Do you feel like your lead is large? Do you feel like, oh no, everyone's already found them and this isn't an advantage? What were you thinking when you were getting those metal slimes so quickly?
It was in a position where I was confident that others could have found it, so I wasn't super confident, but I knew I had at least a good start, that I wasn't terribly behind, at least.
Well, right as I asked you that, Scorpion, Max, and Ryguy both starting on the Dragon Lord, both of them on the first form, both finishing the first form, entering to Dragon Lord 2 at the same time.
And a back attack on Max's side, so Ryguy with an early advantage and also the strength advantage as well. Up to 34, only 23 now for Max.
And Max is
49.
I was going to say Max is making the correct decision, rolling on a 47, has to push every advantage that or gamble that he can, try to get this to win on 12.
I'm confident I could have done it on 13, but I was close enough. I decided to push 14.
Game Boy is now into Sharlock finally, starting the dive, but is it too little too late? We'll see how these battles fare out.
The resource is running lower here for Max. And Game Boy not too far away from level 15, just 764 experience away, as Ryguy continuing to chip away at the Dragon Lord. And I think the way things have been going here, there's a good chance Ryguy will take it here.
The only thing I can say in Max's defense is that Ryguy has been healing on 48s, meaning that Scorpion has been getting more attacks in along the way, little by little. But the stats should favor Ryguy here for sure.
And there it is for Ryguy. Going to take out the second form of the Dragon Lord, return back to the castle, get the accolades. And Ryguy is going to advance and be our second semi-finalist here. Finishing in second.
Wow, Max does it on 12. Wow.
And
impressive.
Max taking out the Dragon Lord at level 12, but just a hair shy despite a huge deficit to start off with, and is going to take third. But Ryguy going to finish here 1 hour, 22 minutes, and 32 seconds. And just a mere 26 seconds later, Max falling just short. And unfortunately, this will be the end of the tournament for Max.
And to give full context for those who have not seen the full race, it was 20 minutes before Max got level 2. So to get that close to still advancing after such a horrifying start with the enemies being so mean, that is wildly impressive.
And Game Boy F9 now on the final floor of Sharlock. Going to play out the stretch here. Yeah, 26 seconds between second and third, 26 seconds between advancement and elimination.
You could say that the win was right at the buzzer, going along with our analogy of some sort of collage sports thing that happens this month.
Yeah, some sort of popular March thing that goes on, some sort of big brackety tournament type thing.
So yes, Toaster, anything else in your run you wanted to comment on as you went along? The keys, I guess, were a problem for you for a long time.
Yeah, I didn't find keys for a while, but then again, I had equipment fairly early. Plus, it was it was a hurt more. Well, it was hurt more at 10, but it didn't take me a terribly long time to get to 10. So, the biggest worry I had was when I found Garanam.
Yeah, everyone had one thing that they were desperately trying to find at one point or another in that race. And whoever spent the least amount of time looking ended up taking it, and your early grind gave you the best chance to not have as much time running around facing dangerous enemies without the stats to deal with them.
It was a very generous seed in terms of stats.
Well, at least I got half the world anyway.
Oh, Game Boy dropping the forfeit and accepting half the world from the Dragon Lord. Wow.
You know, the Rolling Stones said paint it black, but he had to paint it red instead.
Somebody had to set up Builder's Percent.
Hey, coming soon to Dragon Warrior Randomizer near you. Princess Percent. Threesome Percent. Well, obviously there were two reasons why I lost. The obvious biggest one was I failed to find the Silver Harp, but the secondary one was 8-run failing to Red Dragon on the way to Erdrick's Sword.
That Red Dragon was the biggest troll. Was it 4 heal mores you ended up using before you finally went down in defeat?
Yep. But in all seriousness, though, obviously all of my opponents played better than I did, and in this case, AmazingToaster and Ryguy get to move on, and I get sent to the commentary booth. And congratulations to everybody! You have taken down Game Boy, and well deserved. Congratulations to all of you.
GG's all around to everyone.
Now, this just goes to show that while they have the preliminary seedings, I mean, I feel like I say this for every tournament, but the seedings don't quite tell the whole tale. As I mean, you have the 14, 16, the seeds in the teens being just as strong as your 1, 2, 3, or 4 seed.
It appears Scorpion Max is in the chat saying, when you lose because you don't know the difference between East and West. Well, I do have some news for you, Scorpion Max. Ryguy also made that mistake.
Yeah, thank goodness the coordinates are only 16 and not like 60. East and West is hard.
I will say Max spent longer searching the wrong area, though, than you did for sure.
Do I get 2 Erdrick armors for that?
No!
If you did, you'd carry one over. You'd carry one over until next week, where we've got Big Swamp. That would be very helpful.
Yeah, I was gonna say you get Big Swamp Chaos Mode. You get to have fun with that.
Congratulations, you won.
Yay!
I will admit I was not fearing elimination for the fact that if now I get to play Big Swamp Chaos.
I do have to say again, though, for those in the race, in case Scorpion didn't let you know, he beat it on level 12.
Yeah, level 12 Dragon Lord defeat, not something that you often see.
Yeah, that's I think that might have happened 1 or 2 more times in tournament play. I know Jay Coper got a level 12 win back in the first tournament, but I don't remember when else that's happened.
Dang, I think it took me until 13 before I found all the things even.
Well, you got to keep in mind, Max was literally 20 minutes to level 2. Like, he had a rough start. So that dive was just impressive as all get out.
Oh, so I was going to ask, was I the last one to finally decide to use the key on the fighter's ring? Apparently not.
Actually, Max didn't use the key for that. He held on to his key for the longest time. So he didn't have the fighter's ring to help him for early level.
Well, that's what I mean. I tried. I tried to hold on to my key and realized that wasn't going to work.
I kept my key.
Apparently, I'm just really bad at this then.
Yeah, well, I somehow was able to knock out 3 Drakey.
I took the money and ran to Cantlin.
Yeah, that
Go
run to
on.
Cantlin was huge.
Woo, woo, woo. Go on, take the money and run.
Yes, the Steve Miller Band bringing it out here on Randomania.
And I do have to say, for anyone who was involved in this race, since you didn't get to see it, it's worth watching this race because everybody had a different experience along the way. There was ups and downs and changes in positions. It was incredible to see just how variable it was, and to see everyone doing different things and how it all would come back to one another, and being such a close finish in the end for second versus third is just impressive.
Yeah, this whole race had dizzying highs, terrifying lows, and creamy middles.
Ooh! Was it double stuff? Was it a double stuff?
That was for those old school Simpson fans who would appreciate that reference. But yeah, there were a couple of times where there was some double stuff. It felt like in there.
Yeah, like me, I got double stuffed by that stupid red dragon.
Someone in the chat actually did the math on that. You were about a 30% chance to run against that red dragon on each and every turn. So that really should not have bared out that way if you go by pure numbers.
So what did I do? I 6 ran. I 6 fail run, or 6 or 7 or 8, something like that. Do you remember?
You used 4 heal mores, and you had enough hit points probably to. It was at least 7. It could have been 8.
Either a septuple or octuple run fail.
Wow, sounds like Chaos came a week early then.
The start shirt looked like Chaos, I'll tell you that. Fire
So
and
that was about
more everywhere.
So a 7-run fail is 6% chance in that scenario. So not terrible.
Well, one of the things that seemed to plague runners earlier, and also just was a consistent theme of the seed as well, apart from, oh, look, AmazingToaster isn't counting a metal slime. Oh, look, AmazingToaster has taken out a metal slime. Is by my count, there were 9 different enemies that had Dragon Lord 2 breath.
And they just seemed to be all around the castle area, just trying to pen you guys in. It was mean. It was very, very mean.
Going south of the castle early on was certain death.
All right. Well, I'm going to head on out. Good game to everybody, and good luck to Toaster and Ryguy in the semifinal.
GG's, Game Boy.
Yep, thank you.
And we will find out the opponents for AmazingToaster and Ryguy in just a little under 22 and a half hours from now, tomorrow night at 8 o'clock Eastern. It will be the other semifinal matchup. It will be the top-seeded High Spirit, as well as the 5th-seeded Beta Strep, the 12-seed Will Wagner Music, and the 16-seed Schubinator. Will we see Schubinator and Will Wagner Music continue these Cinderella stories here and have a whole upset to destroy all the brackets? Or will High Spirits continue to coast to the championship along the top seed? Or will Beta Strep sneak in there and be among the finalists as well? A lot of stories still to be told here in the Dragon Warrior Randomizer League, the inaugural Dragon Warrior Randomizer League, and it certainly should be a goodie.
There could be more upsets, or we could rock chalk. We'll have to see what happens next.
We've already had Upset City here tonight. Tomorrow we will find out a little bit more, and then we will have our penultimate race as next week. Well, the last 4 will be in the same race together. The top 2 who advance, they will face off one-on-one in the finals in 2 weeks. So only 3 more matches left here in the Dragon Warrior Randomizer League for 2019. Man, where has the time gone? Well, it's certainly been a lot of fun thus far, and certainly going to be a lot more fun coming your way. Brian, any last thoughts before we sew this all up here?
Well, I'm reminded of, wow, we're done.
Yeah, the seed wasn't too bad. There were, I guess in Game Boy's case of deciding, you know what, I'm going to take half the world. We're done. So there certainly is that. Well, also want to make sure to thank our folks behind the scenes here, as they've been doing a fantastic job. CD Improv handling the restream duties, and CyberDark86 with the tracking. And Brysolf, it's been an absolute blast. The proverbial Can-Am connection here that we've got going on here, with all due respect to Tom Zenk and Rick Martel. Yeah, there's a wrestling reference from the past.
And I also actually want to throw in just thanks to the tourney administration in general for this league. It's been well run. It's been great. And just some great races along the way. It's been fantastic all around by everybody involved.
Absolutely. And for Brysolf, for CD Improv, for CyberDark86, for our runners, make sure to give all them a follow. gameboyf9, AmazingToaster, Scorpion Max, and ryguy3745. For all of us here at Randomania, I'm Ferran Burgundy saying until next time.